My M37 wife F33 cheated and blamed it on trauma. Psychological resources? Okay, so I caught my wife sexting a guy she knew a while back. She apologized and said it was only texting and that she's never done anything like that before and never will again. Then after that I also was tipped off to her on Tinder and other such apps more recently. I was quickly able to find the proof to verify she was indeed. She says she never did anything physical. I have no way to verify this with anyone and that it was a way to get power back after sexual harassment, trauma she experienced early in her adult life. She has said I should be able to forgive and forget essentially because she did it all due to the trauma. I told her that what she has done caused me trauma and that I shouldn't be at all obligated to forgive or stay with her if I don't want to. She says the psychological literature backs her up and that the trauma she caused me is far less than what she went through. I would agree from an objective standpoint. My position is I can understand and maybe eventually forgive what she did but not stay with her as I cannot trust her and I am not longer romantically attracted to her due to her actions. Does anyone know of any specific psychological resources on this type of situation? If she knew she was suffering and the trauma was affecting her life negatively, she should have talked to you about it or gotten help. This is so ridiculous. I'm sure whatever she went through must be hard on her. But this specific thing isn't anything psychological. It's plain cheating. She doesn't even seem sorry. You caught her cheating and now she's making up things. Don't let her fool you. I was sexually harassed. So I get to cheat with whoever, whenever, and you have to forgive me. Also, even though I have lied pretty consistently about my cheating, I will say I never did anything physical, and you have to believe it cause again, I have trauma. Even if I'm lying, I'll think about it. Gee, I wonder why she thinks this way. Wow, people are coming up with creative ways to justify cheating on the person they love. Do not stay with a cheater, do not take a cheater back, there is no excuse. I don't have any advice to anyone this dumb that would work. Those aren't actions you take in a committed relationship regardless of any trauma. Her response is really telling. Leave her, work through your own issues from this and eventually find someone who can take responsibility for their actions. I, 35F. Recently broke up with my boyfriend, 37M, but I want him back. Is it realistic? Need help. I, 35F, was dating an amazing guy, 37M, for 6 months. We had great chemistry, communicated directly and really respected each other. Overall really fun and healthy relationship. When we first started dating, I wanted kids while he was unsure. The thing is, I've always been unsure about kids, but told him I want the possibility of having one in the future. Last week we broke up because he decided kids aren't something he wants for his life. He did some serious soul searching and told me as soon as he knew. We didn't want to break up, but did because of this difference. I'm kicking myself for accepting this and not discussing things on a deeper level. The breakup was amicable, talked, shared some of our favorite memories and checked on each other the day after. It's only been a week since we parted ways, but I've learned a great deal about loss and grief since. I've done some soul searching too, and I feel that I've changed since meeting him. I've had many long-term relationships, and this is the best connection I've ever experienced. I want to be with him, and would be foolish to let him go. I've only ever felt I would want kids with the right guy. But I feel like I've met the right guy and would be happy being child-free. I don't feel I'll regret this decision, no matter what happens in the future. I'm not taking this decision lightly and I understand the best and worst case scenarios with putting myself out there. I want to tell him how I feel. Any advice about how to go forward? How much time do you think is needed before initiating contact? You need to realize that whatever you feel for this guy is clouding your vision when it comes to wanting children. Give yourself a month, at least. Distance will make it easier to test your feelings than getting back together ever will. The thing is, from his perspective, your conviction of wanting kids was enough to end the relationship and the trust between him and you will never be the same because of that. You can shoot your shot, but he did some soul searching as well and also came to the decision to break up. This was a two-person choice and seemed like it was very informed for both parties. Yes, you can reach out, but I'm not sure you'll get the desired outcome. X. You've changed? In a week? Give yourself some time. Your shot has been shot. A 6-month relationship ended at the right time. You aren't a match. There is also a chance that he told you that so you would break up with him. You both are in the stage of life to know what you want. Dating only 6 months and talking about kids like it's going to happen soon. He doesn't want kids. You were unsure what to do. If it happened, it happened. He doesn't want that. After a week of soul searching after the breakup, you want him back. Why did you change the deal breaker in a week? You said you were used to long-term relationships. Maybe you think you can't do better and want to settle for him. What happens if you do want a child in 6 months or a year and he doesn't? You will be right back to breaking up. Don't change the deal breaker just because you want to save or get back in a relationship. I'd suggest you need more time than a week to flip a lifelong wish. If I were him, I wouldn't accept this. I'd be afraid of resentment building. I think that if you really could live without children, you'd have flipped while in the relationship. Flipping after a week of being alone screams desperation. You could tell him of your change of heart, and ask him to wait and give you some time to work things through with a counselor, so you can be sure. I know a lovely old couple who were desperate for children, but it just didn't happen. Eventually the husband said enough was enough, and the wife eventually agreed. They were the most invested older couple I've ever met, totally wrapped up in each other. They became their reason for living. Not being able to have kids can be a blessing. I'd give it some more time before you go run back. Get past those initial feels before you make that decision while in fresh breakup emotions. It's a big one. Giving up the idea of kids for a guy is something you might later in life. It just sounds like you're conforming because you like him. I'd wait 2-3 months. GF20F says I'd 20M don't love her as much after cheating. What to do? Girlfriend emotionally cheated on me. We broke up for a year or so, reconnected, then tried a relationship again. I have had issues with trusting and connection far before our relationship that was magnified after her cheating. It's been a few months and she's been lovey-dovey and I've been reciprocating that love, though not as much as I once was. It's currently a common issue on how she's putting in more effort in the relationship, namely on how more outgoing and how much more initiative she has. Admittedly, I was the one who was a bit more of a romantic before but not so much now. How do we get out of this together? A relationship fractured by infidelity can be repaired if both parties are willing to work on it, but the cheater has to do the heavy lifting. Your girlfriend needs to hear that quote. You are showing her an immense amount of love by giving her a second chance. She needs to recognize that. I'm sorry for being blunt, but it sure looks like she made a huge mistake, regrets it and is now trying to frame you as the problem in this relationship. If you become the guilty person, then she doesn't have to do anything to make up for her mistake because now it's been turned on you for having the audacity to be withdrawn after she had an affair. She needs to accept that the person you were with her in the past doesn't exist right now because what she did changed you. If she can't accept that, then she needs to move on. Bro OFC, you will have that issue. Why are you even with her, dude? You surely deserve better. How could you? She wouldn't either. That's why when trust is broken, it's called broken. I honestly don't think it's going to be the same as was before. Cheating can't be repaired in my opinion. You can forgive, but you'll never forget, that is for sure. My man, who I loved so much, faithful and dedicated to him, cheated on me. That hit me so hard I can't recover nor trust for anyone for that matter. As much as I loved him, I decided to let go and never look back. Even if he says he is sorry blah blah blah, I will never believe him ever again. My 20 female, boyfriend 23 male, can't reach an agreement. What do we do? Me 20 female and my boyfriend 23 male were arguing over me getting piercings. He says it will limit my job opportunities, he will find me repulsive, and he won't be able to trust me if I do it behind his back, and is saying rot even if I tell him it's still behind his back. He states he is completely against it, even if it makes me happy. I told him I don't feel as though he is respecting my autonomy and that he can't just tell me no. He says I don't respect or care about his feelings. I'm working in healthcare. This has been ongoing for as long as we've been dating, 2 years, regarding haircuts, hair colors, piercings, and tattoos. Probably other things too. What advice do y'all have regarding this? I am sure he doesn't feel good about it, but I feel so put down too. Edit. I am a medical assistant and an EMT. Also, the piercing of tonight's conversation was a tongue piercing, but we've discussed a naval, industrial, as IAHD one that rejected previously, and a second lobe. The outcome is the same. If it's going on for 2 years, I would say you guys don't align. Feel like a conclusion should have been reached together by now. You are your own person, and your significant other should not be telling you what to do or not do. It's up to you. They can have their reservations, but I would look more long-term into this. Are you happy restricting what you want to do because of his reservations? If not, I would say cut him off. Your body, your rights. Your boyfriend has absolutely no authority to tell you what you can and cannot do with yourself. There's a fine line between giving you friendly advice but ultimately letting you make your own decision and being supportive versus being a toxic asshole. Unfortunately, your boyfriend sounds very much like the latter. My opinion? Cut the trash out of your life and go forth and be happy. Life's too short to be held back by someone who cannot even recognize that you are not their property and are allowed autonomy over your body and choices. On my opinion, it's fine for him to say he likes you the way you are and doesn't care for piercings, and that's it. If he continues to voice his opinion and threaten to leave you, then he has overstepped his boundaries. It's your body and he doesn't have the right to demand you do or don't do something to it. Unless you like being controlled by someone, then I would suggest leaving ASAP. He won't change and will probably get more controlling as time goes on. He doesn't really have a say in it, but he does have a preference, so understand that he could well walk away from you. Never got a tattoo or piercing, but I've talked to guys who have them and they all tell me that they first got them when they were young and stupid. Also, most of them wish they had never done it, but it's permanent and too late now. I don't know what you're getting pierced, but if you work in a professional environment, you need to look professional and it's not going to help with shit hanging out of your lips or nose. Girl, you're an adult, please leave him and grow as a person and who you want to be. Could it impact your employability? Absolutely. But if you are aware of it, and want to do this, then it is your choice. And keep in mind, he can have preference, but you have the right to choose what you want to do. And if he is this forceful on pushing his opinions on your choices on you now, it won't get better with time. Are you okay with living with his preferences over yours?